welcome back to the channel. Today's video, we are ranking the trilogies in the MCU. Yes, finally some Marvel content. All right, I had polled you guys on YouTube what franchise you wanted me to start ranking, and the response was kind of overwhelming for the Marvel franchise. So here we go. We're kicking it off with the trilogy ranking. Before I get into it, if you are new here at the channel and you love Marvel, movies, Blu-ray trips, and award season, you're going to want to hit that red subscribe down below. Okay, so our options for our ranking, we have Thor, Iron Man, Captain America, or Spider-Man. Yeah, I'm throwing Spider-Man in there, even though technically he doesn't have a trilogy, but he's got 2 movies, so I'm tossing him in there. And I'm not doing Guardians of the Galaxy because that is an ensemble film. These are more one-actor-centric films. All right, so at the very bottom for me is Thor. And I think we all know why. Thor: The Dark World is pretty much at the bottom of the MCU ranking for every single critic on YouTube, including myself. He just doesn't have that great of a franchise. And it's so frustrating because I like Thor. I love Chris Hemsworth as Thor. I think it's perfect casting. The only good movie is Thor Ragnarok. And that's because you had Taika Waititi. He took it over, revamped it. We got color and humor in it. And I am so excited to see where he's going to take Thor 4, Love and Thunder. Because when you have Christian Bale as your villain, the Guardians are going to show up. I'm excited. There's hope for the Thor franchise. But as of right now, it's at the very bottom. Number 3 is probably going to be a surprise for a lot of people. It's Iron Man. I know, because I love Iron Man. I love Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark. I think he was perfect, absolutely perfect casting. The entire MCU is perfect casting, okay? But the original Iron Man is the only really rock-solid film in his trilogy. We have Iron Man 2, which, yeah, we got to know a little bit more about Tony Stark with the Expo and his father, but for me, there was too many villains. When you have multiple villains happening, I don't really like that. It seems like everyone's fighting for attention, for screen time, and then you worry about someone's intention not being as clear. I don't know. I just didn't like it. Even though my man Sam Rockwell is one of the villains, it was just on the weaker side for me. And then Iron Man 3, whew, that was, no. I mean, it's still like okay because it's an MCU film. I don't think any of these are absolutely like horrible and awful. They're not the worst films on the planet. But as far as MCU standards, it does not hold up. And it's the only one in the trilogy not directed by Jon Favreau. I don't like that either. So Iron Man, you're number 3. My runner-up at number 2 is Spider-Man. Spider-Man. Mr. Tom Holland. Love him as Peter Parker. Absolutely wonderful casting for him. He looks young. He acts like a teenager. He creates the perfect balance between being a high schooler and being an Avenger. And these 2 films that he has are solid. They're both solid films. In Homecoming, we got to know him a little bit more because we saw the first glimpse of him in Civil War in the airport scene. But now we really know what Tom Holland can do in the role as Peter Parker and Spider-Man. And then Vulture. Michael Keaton, absolutely wonderful as that movie's villain. And then Far From Home is a solid film. A lot of people, I believe, kind of just like, they don't respond to it as well because it was the first film right after Avengers Endgame, and we were on such a high of what just happened, a high, a low, we're devastated. All of our emotions were all over the map with Avengers Endgame. And then Far From Home came in, and a lot of people think that it underwhelmed, but I rewatched it recently about a month ago, and it's a solid movie. It dragged a little bit in the very beginning. However, I enjoyed how they explained the blip. And it had a solid villain with Jake Gyllenhaal. I loved him. I loved him as Mysterio. And then the very end, we're left on that cliffhanger of what's going to happen to Spider-Man now. So those films are solid, but not as solid as my number 1. My number 1 man is Captain America. Captain America absolutely has the most solid trilogy in the MCU to date. The first Avenger is the best origin story. It really, really is. It sets him up, and it sets up the relationship, the friendship that he has with Bucky. And that's so important because this friendship goes throughout the entire MCU, and it sets up a lot of things that are going to happen later on down the line. So that chemistry between the two of those actors and that relationship is extremely important. And I believe it, and they pulled it off amazingly. And then this movie is also in a different time period, which we hadn't really done before, but I enjoyed it. A lot of people say the Red Skull is a weak villain and Hydra and all this, but yeah, that's just nitpicking to me because I highly enjoyed the first Avenger. And then you have Civil War and Winter Soldier. I mean, come on. These films are absolutely fantastic. Directed by the Russo brothers. They know what they're doing. They know this world so well. It is proof. Anyone that ranks the MCU films, the Russo brothers films are in your top 5, guaranteed. So that is my ranking of the MCU trilogies. Captain America, congratulations. You are my #1 man. Comment down below and let me know who's at the top of your trilogy ranking, or which are your favorite movies. And no worries, because I will be ranking all 23 Marvel movies. Yes, I will. That video is coming soon. And I will be posting our first Never Seen It review. That is coming as well. So thank you so much for joining me. If you are new here at the channel, hit that red subscribe, and I'll see you next time.